Hi. Shut up, car. Welcome to Commute, the show where I drive to work and back sometimes. I've been thinking a lot about whether or not this show should be an hour long or just 30 minutes. Am I rambling too much? Maybe it shouldn't be on the way back. Maybe it should just be one way. I don't know. I don't have anything really planned for today. I don't have a script like I usually do. I don't have like a list of topics. Usually I set up I pick a bunch of comments and then I read all those comments and I talk about them and then I tell you a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. But I wanted to see what would happen if I just talked. Would it be better? And maybe it is. Maybe it's better to just ramble into the void. I've been editing this podcast a lot lately. Every week since I started it. Well, not since I started it, but since the second episode. After I'm done making my regular video, I'll sit down and listen to myself talk for like an hour and a half, and it is so boring, you know? The show is not enough. It's not exciting enough. There's not enough shit happening. There's not like oh shit, what is that in the road? A demon in the dark. There's none of that, you know? There appears to be some kind of tentacle creature just waddling around in the middle of the street. Oh, it's on the side of my car now. Oh, it's knocking. It's coming. Don't you come in here. Go away. Go out the back. All you gotta do is just stay firm with them, you know? And then they leave. The little tentacle monsters, you know? Just in around, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell to do with this show. I think if I loosen up and I just chat and I be ridiculous, maybe it'll be more fun, so. I'm getting dangerously close to having to stream again in about 4 days, I think. 4 days, 3 days. Saturday? And it is currently Monday, about to be Tuesday in 30 minutes. So, yeah, not much time left. Not much time left at all. I made a whole list of stuff I needed to get done before the stream, and then I looked at it and I was like, I don't need to do half this shit. It's all extra. I updated my model. I made him able to go backwards. That's pretty cool. Reorganized his entire texture atlas. It was all bad. It was horrible. It was so messy. And then I reorganized the whole thing, and then I realized that it was all resized. So now none of the old ones work. So I have to do it all over again, everything. Huge hassle, man. Huge hassle. Big pain in the ass. I tried the new version of Live 2D. Live 2D 5. I've been paying $20 a month for it, and I never use it. And then I finally used it, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty much the same, but they got dark mode. Dark mode's pretty cool. I'm not very good at making characters with Live 2D. I've seen a lot better than me, but that's because the people making them now are getting paid like 10 grand per model, and they spend like months perfectly crafting it, and they got like the perfect artist skills and, you know, animator skills and design skills that I just don't know if I have, you know. Probably would have made a lot more if I never made YouTube videos and I just made models instead. That's where the money at. But, you know, it's never been about that. Let's see. So, by the time this comes out, the final Sora video will be out. I've written it. I think it's pretty solid. I think I get to the emotional core of his story. His final sacrifice sort of thing. And I already know what I'm going to do with the next couple, so I'm in a pretty good place on all that. I finally figured out what the last video was about when I was saying the anti-insomnia, you know, the fact that I couldn't wake up. I figured it out. I'm pretty sure I was severely dehydrated the last 2 months. Well, maybe my entire life I've been a little dehydrated, but like severely dehydrated. If you, here's a public service announcement. A public service announcement. Did you know that every time you pee, if you look at the color of your pee, you can tell whether or not you're dehydrated immediately? The more yellow your pee is, the less hydrated you are. I don't think I've been very hydrated for most of my life. The fact that I drank a bunch of water and then it changed color, I'm like, oh, so I'm supposed to drink water. Who knew? Did you know you're supposed to drink water? I didn't know. Didn't get that memo. Yeah, so I didn't drink enough water growing up in general. And I always thought I was hungry, but I was actually horribly thirsty. I couldn't tell the difference between hunger and thirst. And for the last 2 months, I got really dehydrated at the beginning of the 2 months, and then I didn't realize it, and I was drinking the same amount I normally drink, and it wasn't enough. And I didn't even think about it. And I started getting more and more tired, more and more exhausted. I felt terrible. I remember a long time ago on a stream, someone told me about severe dehydration. They said in the chat that they had it and it caused all this horrible stuff for years and they never realized it. And I'm like, damn, maybe that's it. Maybe I've just been tired my whole life because I never drink enough water. You know, they say, oh, eight glasses a day. That's a lot. That's a lot of water. But you gotta just fucking funnel the shit in there or you'll die. It's crazy. Who knew? So I'm hydrated now. I'm all good. I've been working my ass off at work. I've been wanting to make more money, and my hours have been dwindling forever. So I said, you know what? I'll help out. I'll take the bullet. I'll bite the bullet. I'll work an extra day a week. I'll work double my hours. I'll really go full on in. And man, it is exhausting and painful. And it is, oof, it's a lot. I'm staying in way later. It's way past my scheduled time too. So it's like you think you're gonna leave and then you don't. You just keep working and you're like, damn, that's a lot of work. And now I'm thinking about how like I'm trying to get good enough at it and like organized enough where it won't be as much time, so that when I start streaming, I can actually get home for a few hours before I have to go to sleep. But oof. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you go to sleep. It's crazy. This summer's gonna be pretty rough, considering I'm gonna be getting up, streaming for 4 hours, working all night, and then coming home when the sun comes up, or past the sun coming up, and then passing out and doing it again every day for 3 months. It's worth it though. The hope is at the end of this, I'll know whether or not I want to keep streaming, whether or not people are interested, and then I can keep an audience long enough. And I'll have a bunch of money. And I'm spending every penny I have. I've saved money for years, and I'm going to spend every penny I have Because I'm moving on up. I'm moving into a dilapidated, shitty old building. And I'm trying to fix it before I move into it. To be honest, it should probably be condemned, but it's not. I'm moving in, though. I'm trying to spend as little money as I can to fix it, but I need to fix a bunch of stuff in the walls and the bathroom, like completely rebuild a bathroom and plug some holes in the ceiling. But when all that's done, I'll have a nice, shoddily put together house to live in, and it'll be all mine. And then after living there for a while, I think it's going to get signed over to me, and then I'm going to have my own house out of nowhere. It's funny how that happens sometimes when you get lucky. But yeah, so I'm about to have a really shitty house and have to work a lot to keep that house. And I wonder if any of it's worth it, you know? You work all day just so you can come home and sleep. My dad did that every day of his whole life, and it didn't really work out for him all that much. He's still doing it, but it's like, what's the point, you know? If all you do is work just to survive, is any of it worth it? He had a reason. He had a kid, you know, he had a kid to support and a wife to support, so he kept doing it. But the only person I got to support is me, and I don't know. It's easier to just crash at people's places and be a bum than it is to, or even just rent, you know, not own the place. But there's no future in that, you know. You got to eventually set down roots, get a house, be a big old grown-up. It sucks. I want to be a kid forever. I never want to grow up. I'm almost 30 years old. I'm still saying it. When I was on the playground, I used to be that kid who said he would never grow up. Every moment in my life where it was like a transition moment, where I was going from like one age to another, like 5th grade, you know, when you're about to finish elementary school and go into high school, or 8th grade, or just graduation, or going to college, or getting kicked out of college, or moving and stuff. Every time there's ever been like a big moment in my life, like a transition to a new type of life, I've always thought, I wish it didn't happen. I'd always loved to stay back and never grow up. Every single time. I'm always kicking and screaming when the new day comes. It's an interesting way to be. But I don't know. I'm just yapping. My mom used to call it talking like a sausage, when you just kind of ramble incoherently your inner thoughts about complete and utter nonsense. But I don't know. I'm very tired overall. Very, very tired. And I haven't even started the marathon yet. That's worrying. The next few episodes are going to be very fascinating. Part of me has thought about ending this show because I think it might be a little bit too much to do this really weird show on top of already doing the essays and already doing the stream. Like, I should really only be doing one of any of them. But it's like I'm doing all these things at the same time. It's like I should either be doubling my hours at work and that's it, and not even making videos. If I was smart, if I was logical, I would have stopped making videos for the 2 months or for 3 months I'm working my ass off. But I didn't. And then with the channel, I should probably just make the one video. Just do the one show. That's what people want. Don't shake the hornet's nest. Just do the same thing every time. Give the people what they want. Don't make anything new. But I can't help myself. I got to do more. And then this show is ridiculous. It's such a stupid idea. But I can't help but do it. I don't know why. I looked at the views. I haven't really looked at them since I started it, but today, right before this, I wanted to look at the views to see if the show's even worth continuing. And some people are actually clicking on it. 11 or 12 people. I don't think any of them have finished it. According to the analytics, it has an average watch rate of 24 seconds, which means everybody clicked off, which blows my mind. An average of 20 seconds. That's insane. People were running away from that video. Really puts it in perspective. If you do anything that's not, cookie cutter, if you do anything that isn't perfect for people, they don't care. They couldn't give a shit. 20 seconds, that's all it takes. I don't even think I started talking at that point. I think I said the name of the show, and that was enough for people to leave. They must have misclicked. Only thing I could think of. They watched my regular Kingdom Hearts video. I said, hey, I got this other show called Commute, where I ramble about stuff, and they went, you know what, let me check that out. They clicked it, saw one frame, and went, and left. And it's like, why even click it then? It doesn't make any sense. People have gone back retroactively and watched I Hate Reading, though, which means that could have only have happened if they knew about the channel. So I'm guessing my video gave them, knowledge that my channel exists, the podcasts exist, and people have gone back and watched some of them. Someone even watched Murder at VidCon. Maybe that was me a long time ago. I don't know. And I don't think my views count because I watched through the viewer. But that's nice that someone clicked on that. I mean, this channel in general has always been a pipe dream. This is what I started with when I was making videos. The first videos I made were I tried to make a bunch of movie reviews, kind of JonTron-esque movie review stuff. And I made a bunch of podcasts with some friends. Just kind of feeling it out, trying to feel what is content, what do people want in YouTube. And just sort of making my own stuff, feeling like, what do I want to make? What do I enjoy? And I got really good at cutting up audio, which was good for the rest of the channel. And then I tried all this different stuff, and then I became a VTuber, tried all this different stuff. But at the beginning, I just did podcasts. And I don't think I've ever gotten one successful one. I realized recently, when I was going through my budget, trying to cut down the amount of money I spend so that I could maximize the amount of money I'll make during this really long binge of work. I went through it and I looked through my budget and I realized that I have spent $20 a month on keeping the podcasts active. The RSS feed for the podcasts that aren't on YouTube directly, like the ones on Spotify and Apple. I have been spending $20 a month for 5 years. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 times 20. That's a big number. It's a big, big number. I don't even want to finish the math. 60 times 20, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for no reason. What is that? 60 times 10 is 600, right? I think. And then times another 600, so that's 1,200, right? That seems about right. I don't do math that often anymore. I used to be really good at it, but yeah, that's a lot of money to spend on a pipe dream. Recently, I deleted it. I've canceled the subscription. So on June 1st, all the podcasts on the podcast apps are going to get deleted. I don't know if people even watch them on there. I don't think anybody ever did. You really got to know people to make it on those platforms. It's all about being in a network on there. All about reviews, algorithmically, apparently. Real weird stuff. Podcasts are like hyper corporate. I mean, they are literally, the reason podcasts exist is because Apple wanted to have a way to transmit across all iPods. So they came up with the idea of a podcast, which is really just radio, but it uses the internet, where you download the radio instead. And then people used it so much that it became its own industry. And now every platform has podcasts. And it's a very strange art form. There's some asshole just driving right behind me. He's just standing there. I hate it when people are behind me. It sucks. It bothers me every time because I don't like driving with people behind me, because then it puts the risk on me. If a deer jumps out in the middle of the road, right, and it's pitch black out, here in the void, there's just a bunch of fucking stupid ass void deer running around, shadowy monsters. You fucking hit brake, boom, now the person behind you is hitting you too. And you have to trust that this person is going to just hit brake at the right time, that they're looking at you, and that they're going to react perfectly in the right amount of time to not get hit, that they're not a complete and utter idiot. You can't trust that. So every time somebody's behind me, it bothers me, because it's like, well, now your life is in my hands, or my life is in your hands, I guess, technically. Yeah, it's the other way around. Yeah, my life is in their hands now. Or at least the safety of my car is in their hands. If something jumps out, I have to hit brake, and if I don't, then I'm fucked. And if I do, then they're fucked. So now you're making me choose between us. You're making me choose which one of us is going to get hurt here. Me or the person behind me who refuses to pass like a fucking idiot. I'm going 5 under the speed limit. Pass me. We've gone through 3 passing zones, but they never do. They always wait too long, and they get all upset, and then they go, all right, fine. And then they finally pass. And you're like, just pass me from the beginning, man. Just do it. I also really don't understand the disbursement of passing zones in general. It's surprising how often you can't pass, and there's no real reason for it. Like, they default to not being able to pass. Seems weird. Why does the road default to not passing? Shouldn't it be the other way around? Shouldn't not passing be activated when you're in an area where passing would be dangerous? I just don't understand that. It always feels like when they're giving people a chance to pass, it's in the worst spots. Like, they don't even think about it. There's got to be some rule, right? You never really think about that. The dots on the side of the road. What do they? Like, who determines when they get made? You know, there's got to be some rule, right? Like, okay, this far away from a turn is a passing zone or something. Or there's got to be some boardroom where they decide it when they make the road, maybe. But then the guy putting the paint on the ground, does he know? How does he know? Does he have a piece of paper telling him how far to make the line? How many times do they make mistakes? How many times do they paint the wrong thing? It's interesting to think about. Well, now we're in a slower area, and they're going to keep going fast. And they're going to... Oh, my God. Holy fuck, that was a deer. I literally looked down for a split second. Yep. Now you can't tell what was real. The tentacle at the beginning, that was probably fake. But the deer and the heart attack I just had, that's all real, baby. It was just standing there in the middle of the road. I slowed down, I swerved a little bit, it ran past. The person behind me didn't even react. Deer ran right past. I don't even think they saw him. Insane. Now they're driving slow. Now they get it. I've driven more at night than I've ever driven in my life because I've worked nights the entire time I've driven. So I actually hate driving during the day. Deer are pretty predictable, you know? They pop up out of nowhere and they'll make two decisions. They'll either stand there or they'll pick a random direction and run. And if you move, they will move. But if you don't move, they'll just sit there. So you have to react to the deer in some way. You hit brake, you swerve a little, they'll run. But the question is, are they going to be fast enough? Are you going to be able to brake hard enough? And the answer is usually no. But in that case, it worked. They were in the middle of the road. The middle of the middle, actually. The middle of my lane. And they got away. I'm so happy for them. I feel bad every time I almost hit a deer. They're innocent, you know? They don't know what the hell's going on. You'd think they would have understood in their deep evolutionary paths, you know, when a stampede is coming to dodge. But I don't know. My cousin used to say that she said one day she saw a mother deer trick its kid into walking into the street. I can't believe that at all. But she said that she saw a deer on the side of the road with its baby. She saw it force the baby to walk. The baby walked out into the street and then somebody hit it. And the baby had like a bum leg or something, and that the mom killed the baby so that it could survive. And I'm like, that's fucked. That's a fucked thing to believe. I think maybe they were just trying to teach their kid how to walk across the road and they didn't think about it. I don't think deer willingly sacrifice themselves. Maybe they do. I don't know. It does always seem to be bucks that get hit. Who knows? But they're everywhere and they don't stop. The dumb bastards. There's so many of them. There's something beautiful about them, but then they stupidly just wander into the wrong spot and then boom, they're gone. It's sad. Every few weeks I'll see one of them on the road, what's left of them, and I'm like, fuck, man. Trucks don't care. As like 18-wheelers do not care about deer. They just keep going. It's crazy. If that's not like the exact, what is it called? Consequences of capitalism, I don't know what is. If that 18-wheeler didn't need to make it on time, if that person in their car driving to work didn't need to get to work going full speed, then that deer would be alive. But because they needed to make money, because capitalism imposed its will upon them to force them to go faster, to not smell the roses, to drive too fast, suddenly a deer is dead. And capitalism killed them. I guess you could say the person killed them, but that person wouldn't have been on the road if they didn't have to fucking go to work. I don't know. It's easy to say capitalism bad. There isn't really a real solution to that system. But I'm rambling again about complete nonsense that mean nothing. Maybe that's just what this show is. Maybe it's just an extension of me rambling into the void. Why do I even release it is the real question. What purpose does this show serve? Because I record these all the time. Like, not commutes, but like conversations with myself. I do it almost every day. I mean, it's become more infrequently. It's more like every 3 days I'll talk to myself. I started doing it when I spent a little bit too much time alone for 1 year. And I decided that the only way to keep away from having cabin fever was to start talking to myself. And then it became kind of therapeutic to speak out loud like somebody's there, to say things you feel without the fear of judgment or anything. But then I was like, well, what if I did that, but it was a show, and I did actually have a little bit of a fear of judgment? What if I said things I believed? I don't know. There's so many things I want to talk about, so many stories I want to talk and tell, and there's nowhere for me to really put them that's marketable. Everything has to be in a box, you know? You can't just share your wisdom. There's got to be some theme to it. Some package. Some sell. You can never just be. I don't know, maybe I'm ahead of the curve. Maybe this is a thing that's going to become a regular thing. Maybe people will chat into the void and other people will listen to them. Who knows? But I am about to be late. My job is very strict about when you need to punch in now. The management has become corrupt. Or maybe they've become uncorrupted because now they actually care what the company wants. Like antibodies that were never on, but now they are. I don't know. I don't know if I should end it here. I might come back. Yeah. We'll see. Well, in case I don't see you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's from the Truman Show. I don't know. Cringe you later.